So as I mentioned, we are reading Parshat Devarim. We're about to enter the final book, the very reflective book, but it is also Shabbat Chazon, the Shabbat of vision. This is, of course, Shabbat Chazon, which is always set up right before Tisha B'Av. Hope to see you on Wednesday as we commemorate Tisha B'Av together. Hasidic tradition teaches that on this Shabbat, every Jew is granted a glimpse of the third temple as we prepare to mourn the destruction of the first and the second temples on Tisha B'Av next week. Judaism does something remarkable. Before we remember what was lost, we are first invited to imagine what could yet be. There is a story that is traditionally read on Shabbat Chazon, the parable of the garment. And it goes something like this. A parent lovingly makes their child a beautiful garment. The child tears it. I imagine this possibly happened in play. Perhaps the child was simply not too careful. We aren't sure. The parent lovingly makes a second garment, and again it is torn. Okay, perhaps now I'm questioning my earlier assumption, possibly a reckless kid, but again, we're not sure. The story doesn't tell us. So the parent makes a third garment, but instead of giving it to the child, they keep it safely tucked away. And every so often, they take it out and show it to the child and say, one day, when you have learned the appropriate behavior, you and are ready to wear it, this garment will be yours. Possibly a strict parent. The parable is, of course, about God and the Jewish people and the three temples. The first temple was destroyed. The second temple was destroyed. And the third temple, we are taught, using this parable, already exists in potential, but remains just beyond our reach until we are ready to receive it. And every year on Shabbat Chazon, we get a slight glimpse of this third temple. At first glance, it's not an especially comfortable story. It can kind of sound as though we simply haven't behaved well and we don't deserve the third temple. But when the question that completely changes, there is a question that completely changes how we read this parable. And that is, why is the temple, or the three temples, compared to a garment and not perhaps a building or a house, right? The temple is called the Beit HaMikdash, the house of the holy. Surely the parent should have built the child a house and not a pair of trousers or a jacket or a dress. It seems like a rather peculiar comparison. Any thoughts? Anyone here want to offer a suggestion why they think the temples might be compared to a garment and not a building? It doesn't last forever. Okay. Any other thoughts? Perhaps anyone online, you're welcome to put some thoughts in the comments as well. Well, the answer that I've got for you is beautifully simple. A house may surround us, but a garment fits us, is measured to our every dimensions. If it were me making a garment for my child in a hypothetical world, I'd have to take careful measurements. I'd think about what suits them, what they need, perhaps the season or the occasion, what reflects their personality. Every stitch would be intentional. So perhaps if so much care has gone into making this garment, then I do understand why it matters so deeply to the parent in the parable when it gets torn. A garment is intimate. It doesn't simply cover or shelter us, but it actually reflects us. Before we've even spoken a word, what we wear tells the world something about who we are. From this, we learn that the future cannot simply be built around us. It must fit the people that we are becoming. And perhaps this is where the parable becomes especially meaningful for us as progressive Jews. We most certainly do not imagine the third temple as a rebuilt building of stone in Jerusalem. Perhaps we imagine it as a vision of a redeemed society, or at least I do. A world where justice, compassion, dignity, belonging, and peace are woven into the fabric of everyday life. But if that is the vision, then the question isn't simply, what will the third temple look like? The question that we understand from this parable is, who will we need to become for that vision to fit us? Temple-based Judaism, with its priests and sacrifices, served the Jewish people in one era. Rabbinic Judaism was itself a remarkable act of reimagining Jewish life after the destruction of the temple. Perhaps Judaism is still unfolding. Perhaps Shabbat Chazon invites us each year to ask how we might continue building sacred communities in a rapidly changing and wonderfully complex world. How do we show up for one another? What kind of community are we creating? What values do we want to wear so visibly that others recognize them before we even speak? In the parable, the child doesn't see the garment only once. The parent keeps bringing it out year after year, offering another glimpse of what could be. Maybe that is why the invitation to imagine returns every Shabbat Chazon. Not because the vision changes, but because we do. Each year we are invited to grow a little more, to understand a little more. Before we can inherit a more sacred world, we have to grow into it. We must learn how to care for it. Unlike most garments, this one in the parable doesn't come with a handy washing label telling us exactly what to do. The future cannot simply be built around us, like a building or a house. It must fit the people that we become, both as individuals and as a community. On the eve of Tisha B'Av, when we remember what has been broken and torn, Shabbat Chazon reminds us that Judaism does not only preserve memories of loss, it also preserves visions of possibility. We are shown, however briefly, the future, not so that we can admire it from afar, but so that we can become the kind of people who are ready to wear it. And perhaps one day, when that garment is finally placed upon our shoulders, it will feel as though it was made for each and every one of us all along. So, may this Shabbat Chazon be an eye-opening invitation to imagine both what the possibilities and opportunities are, but also who we need to be in order to achieve that divine vision. Shabbat Shalom Uchazon, to a Shabbat of peace and vision for us all.